Sit on the end if you need to go. This is a straight shot.
Oh, okay.
Go behind.
Okay.
You wrote this, right?
This one, yeah. This was me.
I do to you.
Ha ha ha!
No, because I said, I didn't say to you, I said, that was a D, I thought.
So it's a D. When you take that finger off, it's a D minor. And this is kind of sort of a B minor. We put it out at sixth just for funsies. It's, so if you do this, it's a B minor. If you take that off, it's a B6. So this is a B minor. Yes, which is fun for people who don't want to do this.
Right, wait.
So if you take the D, but just move this finger up to here.
Up to.
Yeah. Because this is a B, you know this is an A, so A sharp B. Just put those fingers there. That's a B minor. So then we got this B6, E minor 7, A7, D.
F. That's your, let me see that.
Oh, an F.
We'll do that, that's your F?
That's an F. Also, this is an F.
Right.
This is an F major 7,
Right.
which is just kind of fun.
Yeah, it sounds the same. That's E minor and F are the ones that I'm still working on figuring out.
In B minor, there are enough cheats. In both of them, there are enough cheats that you can get around it.
Alright, I got turn two. Let's
Okay.
Where's Brandy at? Oh, and Thad and Becky. Brandy, you're a fine girl.
Wow, so nice to have everyone here with us. My mic is on a little loud. I'll deal with that later. In the meantime, welcome to Temple Beth Shalom. My name is Rabbi Ari Goldstein. To my left, Cantor Gabe Snyder, and we're so delighted to have you with us here. So Temple Beth Shalom is not named after a person, Beth, but rather Beth Shalom means house of peace. And we hope your experience with us this morning is peaceful, both spiritually peaceful, but also physically peaceful, right? So spiritually peaceful, that's going to be kind of on you to figure out. But physically peaceful, we can work on that together. Let's start with the easy one. You have one of these things on you. Just be mindful of it. So let's talk about what it means to be mindful of this. Maybe if it rings, that's a bad thing. So at the absolute minimum, please make sure your phone is on vibrate. You want to power it down, be my guest, just to be on the safe side. Also, please do not use your phone for game playing during our service, or for updating your social media page, unless, of course, you have a Be Real account, which I just got a few days ago. And they surprise you. They say, take a picture right now. So, you got to do it. No, I'm joking. Do not do it. Do not do it. In fact, while we're on the subject of pictures, please do not use your phone or any device for taking pictures during the service or videotaping. We do stream the service, and that stream is thus recorded. In most cases, if you want to watch it again, if something really funny happens up here, we have a record of it. I suppose if something embarrassing happens, we'll probably delete it right away. So you got to be fast. But nonetheless, please, just no recording of the service, pictures or videos. During the service, I request humbly that you not applaud. The This is not a performance, but rather a service of the congregation, which means we don't applaud. Afterwards, if you want to walk up to Luke, give him a nice round of applause right in front of him. He mentioned to me that it wouldn't be awkward for him. So you really, you just walk up later on today, like that, it's perfectly good. He'll be delighted. I think that's it. Also, the miscellaneous talking and giggling and chattering, just kind of keep it to a minimum if you don't mind. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I know some of you are longtime veterans to synagogue services, and so we're glad to see you. Some of you are longtime veterans here at the temple. Others are veterans at another place. Welcome to Temple Beth Shalom. For others, I know this might be your first time you've ever been in a synagogue before. We'll do our best to keep this relatively painless for you. What I can tell you is there are laws in our ancient texts which talk about instant conversion if you've been in a synagogue for more than 2 hours straight. So we'll try to keep it under 2 hours to make sure no one converts to Judaism by being here. Hopefully you are smiling with me. Of course, I was just being playful. Just happy to have you here. We hope that your experience here is meaningful, no matter where you come from, what your background is. So we're going to be using a prayer book called Mishkan Tefillah. So it looks like this. There are other blue books. That
you have. The other ones say the Torah. If you have a book that says the Torah, hold on to it, but not yet. Hold on to it, we're not using it yet. We'll use that one later. Right now you're looking for one that says Mishkan Tefillah. Every book that we have opens, at least from, if you're unfamiliar with synagogue or Jewish tradition, then they open what appears to be backwards. I say it opens normally, and every other book opens backwards, but nonetheless, so they open from right to left and read from right to left. So that's why I'm holding a book like this, like this, so it opens this way. This is the book we're using. We'll do our very best to tell you what page number we're on with regularity. We begin our service on page 192 with the singing of Ma Tovu, which is a prayer in which we thank God for giving us such a beautiful place to pray in. 192, Ma Tovu.
בנותיך ישראל.
All right, we have two special people who have been designated to lead us in readings. One is on page 197 and the other on page 199. And I would like to call forward to read from the Bima here, Chloe Angel and Doug Dickman to lead us in those two readings. Chloe, Doug, come on up. You go first. Sure, why not? Okay, so how about the top one?
Matter is never destroyed, only transformed. So too can the soul evolve higher and higher, from instinct to inspiration, haughtiness to holiness, selfishness to service, from individualism to union, to join with the soul of souls, the infinite one. As the soul is magnified and sanctified, so is the infinite one exalted.
Baruch atah Adonai, asher b'yado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol basar. Now we're on 199.
Religion embraces both faith and action. The primary quality is action, for it lays the foundation for faith. The more we do good, the more readily we grasp the meaning of duty in life. And the more readily do we believe in the divine from which stems the good.
Our service continues now on the facing page, 198. And at this time, I am happy to call upon our bar mitzvah of this morning. That is, of course, Luke, to lead us in much of the remainder of the service, beginning on page 198. Now, let me tell you how this is going to go. And this needs participation. So we are going to do page 198, and then also 200, and then 202. All of these, it's all part of the same prayer, and it's responsively, which means Luke's going to do one, and then we're going to do the next, and we're going to go back and forth. You can't hear me. We got problems here in River City. I don't know if I got it in me to scream louder than this. So maybe we'll turn the mics up a little bit. And I think we've got hearing assisted devices, which I'll find for you in just one moment. But in the meantime, so we're going to chant this responsively in Hebrew, right? Okay. So he's going to chant something in Hebrew, then we're going to chant the next one in Hebrew, back and forth. If you are thinking this does not apply to you because you do not know the chant, nor do you know any Hebrew, the Hebrew, well, the chant is consistent, and the Hebrew is transliterated alongside the Hebrew. There is one book in the sanctuary, maybe two, probably one, in which there is no transliteration alongside of it. Have no fear, it is not the book you're holding. It is a book that is this shade of blue, and perhaps another bar bat mitzvah student in our congregation right now brought their own book and is using it. Yours is not, because yours is this shade of blue. You've got the transliteration. Luke's doing it from the original Hebrew. You can go from either side if you want to, but please participate with us in Nisim B'chol Yom, the blessing for everyday miracles page, starting on page 198.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lesaviv bina lefafim ben yom uvin laila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, rovcha haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, amechi mitzadei kaver.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, ish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, anoten le'ya'ef koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. Hama'avir shena me'enai, u'tuma me'afapai.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tselem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben hurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara.
We continue now on page 218 with the singing of Hallelujah, which is part of Psalm 150. Continues on 313 with the call to worship, which is the Baruch Hu, and we invite everyone to please rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. ואהבת את
Adonai Elohecha, b'chol לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ושרתם מאוד על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Amen.
We continue on page 321. Sing song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content. Her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
That song of peace that he's referring to is Micha Mocha, and it can be found on the next page, 322.
Micha Mocha, Hayelim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Et HaKodesh, Nora, Tehilot, Oseh, Eleh, Shir HaChadasha, Shibechu Yehudi, Eshimecha, Al Svataya, Yachatula, Hodu, Vehimtichu, Ve'ameru, Adonai, Imno, Sur Yisrael, Kuma Bezrat Yisrael, Ubedechinu Mecha, Yehuda veYisrael, Goaleinu Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Ata Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
on page 324. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach uzia gitei latecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Ha'norah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakot, וזוכר חסדי אבות לאמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ויחווה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, יצחק שרה.
You are the open door that beckons me in. Peeking around the doorframe, I begin to enter your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might be able to abide within you. In the house of Eternal, I found my questions waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder. Sit with me, Eternal Teacher, and encourage my seeking as I fill my hours with your mitzvot. So shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up your honor, your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the giving. Blessed you are, Adonai, who gives life to all.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשם ארון, ככתוב על יד אביך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, אלוהי כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו, אדוני אדוננו, מדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
To all generations we will make known your greatness, and to all eternity proclaim. Your holiness, your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God.
Please be seated. So, this is usually around the place that people are a little lost because we haven't done page numbers in a while. So currently, we are all the way on the bottom of page 328. 328, that's where we are. Bottom of the page, we continue with a song called Vishamru, special song unique for Shabbat.
Yeah. בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Bottom of 329 now.
The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week, we live under the tyranny of things of space. On Shabbat, we try to become attuned to holiness and time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in much eternal time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from worlds of creation to the creation of the world.
Nice job. Page 330.
On this Shabbat day, as we graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call, grant us enough health to fulfill our duties, and the compassion we need to attend to others. Teach us humility that we may perceive to our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves and the charity to see best in those around us. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, and hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of belonging, blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you. We praise you, Adonai, whom alone we serve in reverence. We continue responsively by paragraph on page 332.
So 332 responsively. So let me just tell you what to expect. So Luke's going to read one paragraph for us in English, and then we're going to read the next, and then on the next page he still goes back and forth responsively. Each paragraph ends with the words, 3 Hebrew words, modim anachnu lach. Those are 3 Hebrew words which means simply, we give you thanks. So this is a prayer which we give thanks for so many of the things that we so regularly take for granted in our lives. Responsively by paragraph. 332.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations. Modim anachnu lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons, modim anachnu lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements, modim anachnu lach.
For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression, modim anachnu lach.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views shared. Modim anachnu lach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom, Modim anachnu lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose. Modim anachnu lach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds.
Baruch atah Adonai, atov shimcha ucha na'eh lechodot.
Amen.
Morning prayer for peace is called Sim Shalom, page 334.
Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Alleluia, Kol Yisrael. Alleluia, Kol Yisrael. Amecha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha.
We pause for a moment of silent prayer.
May I be saved. May I be free. May I find space to just be. En yehi ratzon, en yehi ratzon. May I find my way back home. En yehi ratzon, en yehi ratzon. May I find my way back home. May you be saved. May you be free. May you find space ratzon. May you find your way back home. And yehi ratzon, and yehi ratzon. May you find your way back home. May we be saved. May we be free. May we find space to just be. And yehi ratzon, and yehi ratzon. May we find our way back home. And yehi ratzon, and yehi ratzon. May we find our way back home.
Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for reading the Torah, can be found beginning on page 362 with the singing of Ein Kamocha. And at this time, I would like to call forward a number of special people for some honors. For the honor of passing the Torah from one generation to the next, I would like to call upon Barbara and Greg Dickman to join us here on this side of the bima. And for the honor of opening the ark for us, I'd like to call upon David and Zach Dickman, along with Blair and Sophia Scannell, to join us here on this side of the bima to help open the ark. We're on page 362. This is Ein Kamocha. Could everyone please rise?
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein k'maasecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai oz le'ambo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Avarachamim et yiva v'irtzonecha et Zion. Tivne chomot Yerushalayim, tivne chomot Yerushalayim. Imecha levad batachnu, melech el ram v'nisa, Adon olamim. Yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, dai dai dai. Imitzion tetzei Torah, ulevar Adonai mirushalayim. Imitzion tetzei Torah, ulevar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, le'amo Yisrael mikedushato. וישבו איש תחת גפנו, ותחת תאנתו. ואין אחרים, ואין אחרים, לפי אדוני צבאות עיוור.
So our tradition talks about how the Torah was given to Moses, and Moses then passed the Torah along to Joshua, and Joshua passed the Torah to the elders, and the elders passed it to the prophets, and the prophets passed it to the sages. And that which is written down in our texts that speaks about that transmission of the Torah, it ends with the sages, and the reason why is because they wrote it. However, we know that the Torah did not end in the hand of the sages, but rather the Torah has been passed from one generation to the next ever since, lovingly and delicately and tenderly passed from grandparents to parents to their children, and in many ways ensuring the survival of our people and the survival of our chain of tradition. And so we continue this tradition of ours of passing the Torah from one generation to the next by giving it to grandparents so they can give it to a parent, and finally into the arms of a bar mitzvah.
As we prepare to pass the Torah into your arms, we accept our place in a long chain of tradition leading up to this moment. This is a moment in time when joy, tears, and gratitude are fused with a strong connection to history and heritage. Many of our loved ones who came before us saw it as a supreme value to pass the Torah to us. Some of them are here with us on this very special day. Others are here only in spirit. All of them are tenderly passing us the Torah so we can, in turn, give it to you. As they gave us the Torah to pass from one generation to the next, along with it comes the message. Always be worthy of this inheritance and pass it along to generations to come.
I've been thinking it's a good way to do it.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu,
Kadosh Shemo, Gadelu Ladonai Iti, Liromema Shemo Yachdav.
Aflosha Devarim, Aflosha Devarim, Ha'olam Omed, Aflosha Devarim, Ha'olam Omed, Ala Torah ve'ala avodah, ve'al gemilut hasadim. Ala Torah ve'al avodah ve'al gemilut hasadim. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim.
We call upon Dana Scannell and Susie Revkin to join us here and help us address the Torah.
You just have to take this and squeeze it. And just leave it like it's perfect. Please be seated. You guys can go back. All right, so our Torah portion for this Shabbat is called Bo, and it is the conclusion. You need it? Fine, you take it. It is the conclusion of the plagues of Egypt. So it's we have the story of Passover, for example, is what this Torah portion on many levels is about. If you would like to follow along in the book, you can. Now, you have to change books, though. So remember when I was telling you at the beginning of the service about how if you have a book that says anything but Mishkan Tefillah, we'll need it later, but that's not the right book. You're looking for a book that says the Torah. There are two versions of the Torah lying around out here. One version looks like this, and the other version looks like this. Now, if you have this version of the Torah, the one that's in my hand, you can follow along with the chanting of the Torah on page 448. Now, if you have that version of the Torah in your hands, you got 406 is the page you can find it on. And what we'll be doing is, in just a moment, Luke is going to be chanting part of the Torah portion. And this Torah portion has been divided to give a few people opportunities to come forward and say a blessing. That honor is called the honor of the Aliyah. And so for our first Aliyah to the Torah, I would like to invite forward Barbara and Greg Dickman again, Roberta Angel, Betty Lou Hickman, and Marshall and Wendy Ansarvitz, Yahamdu, Sivia, Chaim, Gershom, Rivka, Ben Yosef, Vimelech, right over here. All right, and it's in that blue piece of paper if you wanted to. Okay. All right, so whenever you're ready, which one? These are like the 5 tenors over here. Okay. I have high hopes for the 5 of you, by the way. All right. Let's ready. Ready for this? Let's do it. Baruch Adonai Mevorach. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Let's repeat that. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe bo el paro yadni ibadati et libo ve'et lev avadav ledma'an shiti ototai el ototai el bukir bo uleman disafer be'uzne binha uven binha et asher italauti b'mitzrayim et ototai asher samti am idahem Ani Adonai, Vayavo Moshe, Ve'aharon el Paro, Vayamru et lav Ko Amar Adonai Elohei ha'ivrim lema'an ad matai me'anta le'anot mipanai shala'ani vaya'abduni ima en ata l'shalea exami inani mevi mehar arbet bivulecha
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Is this your book?
No, I mean,
Right, I got you. Let's, you're welcome, Mazel Tov. Nice job. Let's take it slow going down the steps. There's also a rail. Van. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the mess. Back here. That's okay. Take our time. All right, our next aliyah to our next aliyah to the Torah, we call upon parents, Brandy and Thad and Joe and Becky. Yahamdu, Bracha, Leah, Bat Sivia, Gershom, Yosef, Ben Nisim.
Baruch Adonai Hamgurat Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher ba'aranu mikohanim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'hisa et ein haaretz v'lo yuhal lir'ut et haaretz v'ahal et yeter hapleta hanish'eret lahem min habarad v'ahal et kol esef atzameach lahem min hasadeh uma'u bateha uvatei olavateha uvatei omitzrayim yeh asher lo ra'u avoteha miyom heyotam al avoteha miyom heyotam al ha'adama ad hayom hazeh vayifen vayetzeh me'im par'o vayayom al-dei par'o elav ad matai yeh zetlanu l'mokesh shala et ha'anashim vaya'avdu et Adonai Eloheihem haterem teta ki avda Mitzrayim vayushav et Moshe et Aharon el Paro vayomer alehem do et Adonai Eloheihem mevimeh
Lanu Torat Emet, V'chayei Olam Nata B'Torenu, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. We'll give you guys kisses in a moment. All right, our final aliyah to the Torah, we call upon our bar mitzvah himself, of course that being Luke, Yamod Her Shmuel Ben Bracha Bar Mitzvah La Torah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvara.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvara Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Vayomer Moshe Bina Arenu Uvizkanenu Nele Vivanenu Uvivnotenu Vitzonenu Uvizkarenu Nele Ki Hagadonai Lanu Vayomer Alehem Yehihen Adonai Imahem Ka'asher Ashala etem ve'etapem Yira'at neged p'neihem Lo en l'chuna ha'gevarim V'ivdu et Adonai Ki ota l'shavat atem Mevakshim v'yagaresh otam Me'et p'nei Far'o Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Niteh Yadha Al Eretz Mitzrayim Ba'ar Beh Ve'ya'al Al Eretz Mitzrayim Ve'yoham Et Kol Esev Haaretz Et Kol Asher Hishir Ha'amarad Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam Asher natan lanu Torat emet V'hayei olam nata b'torhenu Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
We are, after listening to the Torah chanted, the tradition, of course, is to lift up the Torah so you can see the words that were chanted. If you want to get a sense of what Luke just did, when I lift up the Torah, the middle column, you'll see kind of like a little space. So it's from the space down in the middle column, and then you go over one column to the left, and he went down about a quarter of the way down the next column page also. I'd like to once again call forward for the honor of redressing the Torah. That would be Dana Scannell and Susie Revkin, and we invite everyone to please rise.
V'zot HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Mipnei b'nei Yisrael Al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe.
Let's go backwards.
Yai, 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 yai,
274, we return the Torah to the Ark. Eitz Chaim.
Eitz Chaim lama chazim ba etom ea meushar dirafeha darken oam v'kol netimotecha shalom Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Adesh Yameinu
Please be seated. All right, so each and every Torah portion has a corresponding Haftarah portion, and the Haftarah for this Shabbat comes from Jeremiah, and it speaks about the future defeat of Egypt. And so you can see the connection between our slavery in Egypt and then the defeat of Egypt. Where did you get the Haftarah from? It's not in here. Well, that's great. Here, I'll get it from this book. So if you'd like to follow along with the chanting of the Haftarah, if you have this book right here, it's on page 427. If you have the other book, it's on page 700. And what will happen in just a moment is Luke is going to begin by chanting the blessing before the Haftarah, and then he's going to chant a part of the Haftarah itself. And then he's going to chant the blessings after the Haftarah. And then if that is not enough, we ask each and every one of our Bar and Bat Mitzvah students to just read through the Torah portion and discuss it with me, and come up with a way to make that timeless message of the Torah timely. And he did just that in a beautiful way. So after he finishes with the Haftarah, he's going to share words of Devar Torah, kind of like a speech, but more than just a speech because it has Torah content to it as well. But first we begin with the blessing before the Haftarah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar b'nvi'im
Asher bachar
b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem
anemarim
be'emet Baruch
atah
Adonai aboher b'torah Moshe Avdo U'Yisrael Amo U'Vinvi'ei Ha'emet V'Tzedek Hadavar Asher Diber Adonai El Yirmiyahu Hanavi Lakot Aboher Batorah Nivu Hawetzar Melech Bavel Lehakot Et Eretz Mitzrayim Hagidu V'Mitzrayim V'Hashmiu V'Migdol V'Hashmiu V'Nof Uvetaf Anhes Hebrew Yatzef Ethem Lach Ki Atlaf Herev Sevivecha Ata Adonai melech ha'olam, tzor kol ha'olamim, tzaddik b'kol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'medaber u'mkayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, al ha'torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod u'tifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך בפי כל חי, תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש לשבת. אמן. Hello and welcome to my Mitzvah. Thank you so much for being here and joining me on this special day. My Torah portion is called Bo, and it speaks about the final 3 plagues: locust, darkness, and slaying of the firstborn child. The portion describes how God hardens the Pharaoh's heart about letting the Jews free, suggesting that the plagues were not entirely the Pharaoh's fault. But the portion continues by mentioning there is no time for the bread to rise before they left. But there is time to steal from the Egyptians and go over the law of Passover. The part that stuck out to me the most was the description of the 9th plague. This was the plague of darkness. Considering the fact that it was considered the second to worst plague, 9th out of 10, I was surprised. In my opinion, darkness isn't always so bad. In fact, many people really like darkness. However, I think the reason it may have occupied such a prominent place on the plague list is because it represented people not being able to interact with each other, and I can understand why that would be so bad. In my life, I believe that interacting with each other is very important. At school, and I interact with my teachers, my friends, my peers. Even at home, I'm always interacting with people. This connects to my Torah portion because the plague of darkness does not allow people to interact with each other. If people cannot see each other, they could be sitting in a room with someone and not even know they're there. Back then, there is not the invention of lights, so people could not see each other, therefore they could not interact with each other. There are many people I'd like to thank for becoming a bar mitzvah. First, I would like to thank my tutor, Mr. Katzman, as this couldn't be possible without him. I'd also like to thank my mom and my dad for driving me to Hebrew school and making sure I could have a bar mitzvah. Lastly, I'd like to thank Joe and Becky for supporting me through this journey. In keeping with the mitzvah of tzedakah and in support with the state of Israel, I plan on using a portion of my bar mitzvah gifts to purchase an Israel bond, which I will present to Small Miracles Animal Shelter, because Small Miracles does an amazing deed of rescuing dogs and cats and bringing them back to be adopted. 2 of my dogs have been adopted there, and I couldn't imagine life without them. I will continue my Jewish experience by attending Shabbat and other service that I'm able to attend, and by volunteering at the temple regularly. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you very much for being here.
All right, nice. Wow. You could see, I don't think I've ever heard more people say Shabbat Shalom back at a bar mitzvah. You know? So yours is unique and special. You did a beautiful job. Really proud of you for your accomplishments here. And I know that a lot of you here, by the way, good job for resisting the temptation to applaud. I know that you like to. You listen to me, and I really appreciate it. I know, but there are a lot of people who would love to communicate their pride in words as well. You have time later. Now, you just have to, that we're going to just limit the number of people who are going to communicate pride to just a few. And so at this time, what I'd like to do is call upon Randy and Joe to join us here to share a few words of Mazel.
These are to you. This is all the audience. Luke, I'm speaking on behalf of all four. We love you very much. We are very proud of you, and and we are so happy that we were on this journey with you. Over the last few years, we've watched you grow from a little boy to a young man, really come into your own. You've got a whole row of friends. When we first started planning your bar mitzvah, you didn't want any friends here. So you've grown up, and you even have a mustache. Welcome to this side of bar mitzvah. We all love you.
See, you're lucky because I'm still working on mine over here. This is I have the honor of saying a few words, making a couple of presentations as well. So let's start with the gifts, right? This one and this one. One's a Kiddush cup, one is a set of candlesticks or holders. And, you know, oftentimes, especially at this point in your life, you know, you may not really have a real use for them because maybe you'll be using your parent, your mom's, or whatever. Still, at some point, you will definitely wonder where these are. I know every once in a while, think to myself, whatever happened to my, you know, gifts they gave me for my bar mitzvah? So, you know, keep them safe. Just don't lose them. Now, also inside of this this bag are two certificates. One is for travel to Israel. I wish I could say that it was a full gift certificate, fully paying for your trip to Israel. It's not, but if you should go with North American Federation of Temple Youth, which is nifty, this makes it a little bit easier for you to do so. Also, this certificate says you are a bar mitzvah. As you can see, it's been in this envelope all along. And you can see it's signed by me. Now, I could either say that I have this magical ability to sign certificates just with my mind, sign, and then that's not the way it works. I do not have that type of Harry Potter witchcraft and wizardry. Rather, I signed this document a couple days ago, actually. And you might say, well, why'd you sign it a couple days ago? Well, what happened if you had really, really laid an egg up here? Right? The answer is this bar mitzvah has nothing to do with what happens today. This is all a show for you. Being a bar mitzvah is the months and months leading up to this day. Right? If you think it's easy to be a bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, I assure you it is not. If you think that, oh, look, he had all that stuff, all the English transliteration next to it, it's not how it works. You learn the language, you learn, we don't ask people to learn to be able to be fluent in speaking it, but learn how to read and write a language which has different characters. We ask them to learn a musical melody to go along with it and chant it from a scroll that has, does it have vowels in it?
No.
No. Is it written in block letters or calligraphy? That's correct. Calligraphy, no vowels, chant it in front of a lot of people. It's really hard. And then we ask you to chant something else from a different text with a different melody to it. Right? And then we ask you to get up here, like I said, in front of all these people and do it. It's not easy. You should start panicking right now. That's right. His bar mitzvah's in 2 months. And so the fact, though, is that this is just the show. It's what you did to get to this point. The times that you wanted to hang out with some of those guys in the back row over there but didn't because you were practicing. The times when you wanted to watch something on TV or play a game or something like that but didn't because you were working on this. And that's what it means to be a bar mitzvah. Right? So keep everything in its proper perspective and give me a break for having signed it a couple. Now, your Torah portion, you spoke about a really great message. In fact, I'm aware of a podcast floating around somewhere in cyber world right now in which someone's talking about this very same story. By the way, the podcast is one that the cantor
hosts. It's a really cool podcast called Drinking and Droshing, in which you're literally intoxicated because of listening to the podcast. However, it's not. It's a discussion of the Torah portion and also a relevant drink that goes along with it. So so he's been doing this. He knows this stuff, and I know with certainty that he talked about the very subject that you talked about darkness and about what that means. And and I was thinking about, as you were talking about darkness, and you were talking about how important it is to interact with other people. And I agree. Of course it's important to interact with other people. But when I also think about darkness and about what it means to be able to interact with people, I think what it also means is to have a community around you. Right? And to be a bar mitzvah means to take your place in a community of Jews. To be a bar mitzvah means you see yourself as part of this big group. And that's so important. And prior, you were in metaphor, or had you not, maybe that's said better. Had you not, maybe you would be in metaphoric, and I mean it metaphorically, darkness. But you've chosen to kind of be a part of this community and be a part of something because you need it and you care about it. And we need you and we care about it too. When you walked around the sanctuary with the Torah, you didn't know your parents were behind you, I was behind you. It was like symbolic. Right? Symbolism is you're walking down a path of life. And you're doing so and you're holding the Torah. And you're caring about it. And your parents are nearby. But they're not telling you where to go. You were leading the way. But they were there to support you. As it always is, or we hope. But you're doing so with the Torah. You're taking your steps with the Jewish community, and that means so much to us. And we want to sanctify this moment with blessing. And the blessing comes from the Torah. It's the priestly benediction. And it's a blessing that I have the privilege, along with Cantor Snyder, to bless you with. But it's also a blessing that is incumbent upon parents to do also. And so what I'd like to do is invite you to join me and Cantor Snyder at the Bima, and we'd also like to invite your mom Brandy and your father Thad to join us as well at the Ark. And as you come before the Ark, we invite everyone to please rise. Stand right here, Luke. Randy, come right here. No, turn around. Face the Ark. Perfect. Dad, come over here. That's right. Hands on the shoulders, around him, whatever you want. There you go. Luke, may God bless you and may God keep you.
Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'yechuneka.
May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May a sense of God's presence always surround you and bless you with peace. Amen. At this moment of joy, as in all of our moments of joy, we use this as an opportunity to thank God for giving us life and sustaining us and enabling us to reach this day. It's a blessing that we call Shehechianu.
Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higyanu nazman hazeh. 586 in your prayer books. Bottom of the page, we continue with Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tein gedula le'otzeh breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, ve'lo samanu mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please remain standing. You to the beam of that, you back to your seat. This is a bittersweet moment for us because while we experience the joy of a bar mitzvah like this, we also recognize there are loved ones of ours, both from our congregation and from your extended family, who are no longer with us. And so I would like to read names of loved ones who are no longer with us from our congregation. 4 have passed quite recently: Albert Lapash, Natalie Rosenblum, Jean Schwartz, and Edwin Landis. Also, these loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on the Shabbat, it means it's the anniversary of their passing: Carol Guy, Stanley Berman, Julius Abeleys, Gary Dwoskin, Pete Hoffman, Buddy Holstein, Bess Keats, Edward Rose, Robert Barenboim, Ruth Lakin, Anita Levin, Eugene Levy, Deborah Meisenberg, Barbara Fox, Phyllis Sarubin, Stephen Werner, Laszlo Farkas, Dorothy Feinstein, Francis Greger, Stephen Sykes, Alan Sachs, Sam Blackman, Shirley Friend, and Selig Keats. And finally, I just would like to add a handful of names also to the list of people we are remembering because they're part of your extended family personally. It may not necessarily be their actual yahrzeit, but we certainly are thinking about them at the time. We remember lovingly Conrad Angel, along with Anita Budman, Shelley Budman, Elsie Budman, and Harry Budman. And so, in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with the rest of our loved ones who have passed away, we remember them with a prayer called the Kaddish. It's on page 598. And if you'd like to join us, please feel free to do so. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah v'yamad yivrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayichonu v'yomechonu v'chayei d'chal beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevorach v'yalamu lamei amaya yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kusha b'reichu le'elamin kol birchata v'shirata Tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiram b'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav v'yasei shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. And let us say Amen. Please be seated. All right, so we're really almost very close to being done. And I know some, for you, you're probably really happy about that. Yeah. So let me say how we're going to be concluding. 625 is our closing song. We're not quite there yet, but I'm just giving you a heads up. Page 625 is our closing song, which is Adon Ulam. Am I right? Okay, cool. And Mazel Tov to you. Welcome to your family and friends who are here. Thank you very much to Jerry Falk and perhaps, I think, Jillian Filey and Sophia Travers also for serving as ushers this morning. We are going to do a couple of prayers, a song, one more expression, and then some fun, sweet stuff. So I'd like to invite forward to assist us with Kiddush and Motzi, David and Zach Dickman again, Blair and Sophia Scannell again, Hallie Sado and Judah Budman to join us up here also. Let's see, you guys stay over on this side, yeah. Now, where's Luke? Come on, Luke. All right, 2 blessings. First, Kiddush. Take this. Now, everyone here is going to need to drink a full glass of wine. Joking, no wine. No. All right, Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Take a smell or sip. Smells good. That's not grape juice. That is not grape juice. All right, motzi. So you can all take a little piece if you want, and we'll do the blessing for motzi. Take the end. Yeah, it's a whole lot easier. There you go. Well done. Well, yes. Yeah, all right, so motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ha'osi lechem min ha'aretz. Amen. All right, so I need a couple of you guys to be some assistants here. You're passing the candy out. You don't need to give one to each person. You can give a handful to the row and they can pass it out. Here, you guys do it together. You guys can all do this together. So go out there and give candy to them. You okay? Good. All right, so do not eat this candy right away. This candy is for throwing at the very conclusion of the service. It's wrapped. You're going to throw it at Luke at the very conclusion. After having thrown the candy, you go back to your seat now. After having thrown the candy, then you can go pick it up and eat whatever you want. But only after it's been thrown. We conclude with Adon Olam 625, followed by one final expression from our tradition. Come this way.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Tzeres Bo Yitzir Nivra Le'ein Asa B'Tesko Azai Melech Shemo Nikra
About to conclude. Wait, have you given out all your candy yet? So why don't you go here? Let me help you. Let me show you how. This is the best way to do it. You go like this. Here, I'm going to show you. Come here, I'm going to show you. There's good ways of doing this. So you let everybody else do the hard work for you by handing it to them like this. And then they'll pass it around. You know what I mean? Cool. Do that to that. Do the whole handful. Give a handful. Okay. You got this. There you go. You got it. Good job.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Umevorach. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Umevorach.
Good job.
Shabbat Shalom.
fantastic to all of our candy passers. Now, one final expression from our tradition, and then feel free to lovingly throw candy at Luke. It goes like this. Thank you. Nagila v'nismu chavo. It means this is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and be glad and celebrate. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Throw candy at Mazel tov, everyone. Shabbat shalom. That concludes service. Mazel tov. Woo! Mazel tov, Simatov, Simatov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Simatov, Simatov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Simatov. This is for you guys to take whenever you want to. Your whole life, just bring it in. Bring it in.